It is Friday, September 2nd, 2022. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. Producer Dan along for the ride as well. Today we are presented by a good friend over at Muggsy. Not only the best looking, but best fitting jeans for all you dudes out there that listen to Baseball Today. I want to sincerely thank my man, Trevor Plouffe, whom occasionally I take shots at on this show, but only in like a brotherly, loving way. I think I have to put an embargo on that, at least for, I don't think I could make it the entire month of September. Let's start small. I won't take a shot at you on today's show because you set up a guest for the Rose rotation. So hands off today.
I don't like that, though. I want hands on at all times. I
Oh.
want you coming at me. I want that C Rose. I don't want the bland network TV C Rose. Give me the unfiltered YouTube podcast version of C Rose that we've grown to love here on Baseball Today. That's all I want, bro.
As long as you give me the okay, then the coast is clear. I am off, ready, willing, and able. Although I think if we had a scorecard for the end of the week, you would be killing me in the eyes of the public. So many times in the comments, everybody's like, Plouffe is dead on. Rose is a moron. I don't know what's going on in his thought process. Listen, that happens sometimes, you know, and I lose it occasionally. So my thought process gets crazy. I think we can agree on this. What?
Go ahead.
We're just going to start with our first topic, but you know what?
Oh, you're like the older stepbrother that I never really wanted, but I have now, and we're making do.
It's funny because people call me old, but I'm not old in my thinking. I'm sorry. I'm not.
No, you're not.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing I get pissed off about is when people are, he's just old. No, fuck that. I'm not old in my thinking. Chronologically, yes.
You try to stay young just like I try to stay. I surround myself with young people and steal their energy. It's my secret. I'm like almost like a vampire would steal like the blood out of someone. I steal your infectious youth and I put it into my own body.
I don't know what we have to steal from Spencer Strider, but it's something. Probably the best pitch game of the entire season last night against the Colorado Rockies. Set an Atlanta single game record with 16 strikeouts. Let's just, before I even ask the question about the Braves rotation going into the postseason, can we just give this guy the credit he deserves? I found out he had something kind of special going in the sixth inning, so I tuned in and I was like, oh boy is on it.
Yeah, he's nasty, obviously. I like his quotes after the game. He's like, I stopped counting after 4. That number got really high for Spencer. He's like, I can't count that high. It's ridiculous. But he's turned into, every once in a while in an organization, you get someone that comes up and you're like, holy shit, like this guy is going to be around for a long time helping our team out. And thank goodness we have him. That's him for the Braves. Like Max Fried is another example of like what Spencer Strider is. Like that's who he was early on. So congratulations, Braves. Like you are continuously finding guys to come help your organization for the foreseeable future. If you're a Braves fan, you just have to be extremely excited about the core that you have going forward for the next 5-6 years. It's ridiculous.
So that was his 17th start as a major leaguer last night. And really one of the few times we talked about him this year was after he got lit up by the Mets and then said they got lucky and all that sort of stuff. And we questioned about whether or not a guy who's only got a handful of starts should be making those comments, whether he believed them or not, whether he should have gone public with them. All that has been put aside, at least temporarily, because he was dealing. He has become quickly, I know that we're flavor of the day pretty much in the sports world with the 24/7, sports news cycle. But he is fantastic to watch. His energy, his little whip through at the end where he kind of raises his hand on the delivery. He's really unique just to watch.
Yeah, he's I said after when he made those comments, I said, like, you want your starting pitcher to like think like that. Like that's what you want. Whether like you thought it was the right thing for him to say it out loud into the media, like sure, whatever. But like that's what you want those guys to think like. They have to be overly confident, ready to go to beat any team at any moment. And like he has that in spades. So don't try to calm that down from him. Like let him have that. That's where he draws his power from. It really is.
Yep, he was great. So it gets me to my bigger question, which is, does Atlanta have the best rotation of any contenders in either league.
I love Atlanta so much, and I love Spencer Strider, and we just talked about them.
I hear a but.
But no, man, no. It's the Dodgers, and I think they're head and shoulders above
Really?
any other org as far as starting pitching right now going into the playoffs. I will say that Houston's the closest to them, but they have 5 legitimate starters in their rotation. If you count Tony Gonsolin, which I believe he's just taking a little bit of break right now. Think about this, man. Kershaw comes back last night. We'll talk about him in a bit. Okay. You got Anderson, who's been nasty. Urias, who's nasty. Gonsolin's been nasty. And guess what? Dustin May is back looking nasty. 5 legitimate starters. You can kick one of them to the bullpen. You kick Heaney to the bullpen. All these guys, they have the depth, bro. That's why they are who they are. The depth is always there for the Dodgers. Again, I put Houston because of their depth behind them, and then probably the Mets, and then the Braves. And then you can just keep going down the list. I mean, there's some really good starting rotations out there that's going to look really good in the postseason. Teams made trades, like things have happened, but the Dodgers still have the best starting pitching in all baseball.
Well, let's start with the champs right there. And you look at their rotation. I don't know what Spencer Strider's going to do in October. Those lights, I would expect him to do exceptionally well because I think that he's got the MO and the DNA to be able to, glide right through that and be exactly what we've seen in the regular season, which is 174 strikeouts in a little over 118 innings, which is ridiculous. Yes. Max Fried, we know what he's done in his 9 postseason starts. At times he has looked fantastic. At other times he's looked okay against really good teams. Charlie Morton, to me, is going to be the real interesting one. He has not had a Charlie Morton great year, but he has been fantastic in the playoffs. 16 playoff starts, an ERA under 3.5. Guy that has seen every sort of situation, whether it's as a starter or out of the bullpen. I still trust him. And does anybody even notice that Kyle Wright leads the show in wins? I know that's not a big stat anymore, but the guy's going to have a 20-win season possibly and an ERA under 3. And we don't even this. I think it's the first time all year we've mentioned him on the show.
No, I don't think so. The Braves have a great rotation. This isn't me taking anything away from their rotation. Like they have 3 guys that have had excellent years. We know we call him big game Charlie Morton for a reason. So like he's going to be there in the postseason. It's just that I think the Dodgers have more. They just have more, okay. Chris. That's it.
Well, see now the Gonsolin story, the narrative shifted a little bit yesterday where I think originally they thought he was going to miss 2 starts and now they're not sure. He's going to have an MRI today. Brusdar Graterol is going to have one. I know that he's not a starter, but that could affect the way that they manipulate their rotation depending on who they send to the bullpen. Dustin May is still in his infancy of after Tommy John, still working his way back. Is he the guy you want to use out of the bullpen, or is he a guy you want to use one shot in the divisional round, try and get 6 innings out of him and hope that it works well? I don't know. I think Houston is the one that's closest to Atlanta.
Well, you think Atlanta's number 1? Because you never gave your ranking. I said Houston's number 2 right behind the Dodgers. And look, if Dustin May has to have a piggyback, Andrew Heaney's right there for him. I'm assuming, in talking about the Dodgers rotation like I am right now, I'm assuming Tony Gonsolin's going to be there for the postseason. If that changes, then I have to readjust. But right now, I'm assuming he's going to be there, and I just think they're too deep. But I want to know who you picked, because you haven't even answered the damn question,
by the way,
Chris.
I know. You know one team we haven't even mentioned? The Mets.
I said the Mets.
Okay. DeGrom, Scherzer, Bassett, and then it gets interesting. Taijuan Walker, Carlos Carrasco. I don't know which direction they would go there. We'd have to see.
Tyler.
I don't know. I'll go with Houston as long as Verlander checks out okay.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't with that calf, then I reserve the right to change. Houston's
they're my 1B behind the Dodgers for basically all the same reasons I spoke about the Dodgers. The depth is just there, and they have some really high end talents as well. Guys that can do different types of things. It's not all the same type of pitcher. So I just like the depth of both of those organizations. It's no wonder that they're, 2 of the best organizations in all of baseball.
And my sleeper rotation, Seattle Mariners. Yeah. And we were wrong to not mention George Kirby the other day, who has had a fantastic season. Let's move on. Bigger story to come out of Citi Field Thursday. The Mets taking 2 out of 3 from the best team in baseball and the season series. Or Clayton Kershaw looked really good and, more importantly, healthy in his return to the Dodger rotation for the first time in almost a month.
Well, with the Gonsolin news that you just broke on me, like maybe now I have to switch my answer to Kershaw. It's very crucial to the Dodgers that Kershaw's back looking like his old self and is ready to go for the postseason. That's very crucial. But I really believe that it's more important the Mets took the season series on the Dodgers. And wow. I know after the game, all of the people said it doesn't matter what happens during the regular season. The playoffs are completely different, and they are. But wouldn't you rather, as a competitor, go into a series knowing that you've already done it? Because I'm telling you right now, I would rather have that. If the Dodgers just beat the Mets all season long and you go into October against them, there's a little birdie in the back of your head saying, damn, like they crushed us. And then the front of your head saying, yeah, but it's October. And the birdie in the back's like, yeah, but they beat the crap out of us during the regular season. It's there, no matter they want to say it or not. So if you have the season series under your belt, the birdie in the back of your head is now pushing more confidence. And I think that's really, really important during the postseason. So these guys will never say that, but I'm telling you right now, they're much happier winning the season series than losing the season series.
I don't know whether this stat was for a singular series, meaning just like a best 2 out of 3, or the season series, but the Mets picked up their first series win against the Dodgers in 11 years yesterday. So I don't know if that was for the full season. That's what I think it is too. That they couldn't have won because, you play one there and one at your place every year. Mm-hmm. So I would have figured that at some point that the Mets would have won one. I know they won a postseason series against the Dodgers a bunch of years ago.
Yeah.
It was the Chase Utley one. I think that's a big deal, but it's certainly not as big a deal as Clayton Kershaw coming back and looking healthy. I know that first inning was shaky where he had 3 walks and gave up his lone run, but other than that, he looked great. And man, good for him that he's made this adjustment. I mean, he doesn't throw harder than 91 now, does he?
I saw a 92 in there, maybe a 93.
Maybe.
I think, get some adrenaline in him during the postseason. I think we'll see him hump up a little bit. Let him get his feet back under him, and I think he'll get some velo back. But I agree, this is very important for the Dodgers, like extremely important for the Dodgers, especially if you're telling me that they're going to get an MRI on Tony and Catter, they might be missing some more starts than he was originally scheduled to. So I think both things are really important. How about that, Chris?
Good. They can be. The Dodgers, just thinking about their rotation, if they don't have Gonsolin, their top 3 in their rotation could be lefty. They could go lefty, lefty, lefty.
That's interesting.
Right?
Space them out and put someone in between.
Dustin May.
And then his piggybacks Heaney. Oh, shit.
Be interesting. Okay.
Come on, Tony.
Something to talk about. Yep. All right. So once again, today's show, Baseball Today, presented to you by our friends over at Muggsy Jeans, the most comfortable men's jeans on the entire planet. They are built with proprietary stretch denim. The jeans look stylish, but you kind of feel like you're wearing sweatpants. And take it from some dude who, I talked about this a lot. I'm a Dow Joneser. So that means sometimes my weight is up, sometimes my weight is down. The nice thing is Muggsy moves with you, and they're not going to look too baggy if you're down a few pounds, and they're going to stretch with you if you've had kind of a bad few weeks of eating and you're up a couple of them. There's some jeans where you look at them and you're like, God, I'd really love to wear those, but I'm not fitting in them right now. That is not the deal with Muggsy. They are the stretch jean for men. Okay. That's the way they feel. They're cotton-based. They're breathable. I am a dude that I sweat like a pig. I get swamp ass sometimes. So I don't get those in Muggsy jeans. I don't feel that way. They feel very natural. They feel very light. There's more room for your boys down there. Everything about them is great, including the way they look. They've got an array of colors. So if you want to go stylish, you can do that. I've seen them have green. They've got blue. I've got gray. I've even seen them in like green and red if you want to go that way. Go for it. So just do yourself a favor. It's very simple. I need you to go to Mugsy.com. Use the promo code baseball for 10% off your entire order. Believe me, your boys south of the equator will thank you. That someone special in your life will thank you. And go thank yourself for buying a pair of Mugsy jeans.
Dude, you're something else.
What?
I would love to see you in a pair of red Mugsies with your swamp pass, walking down Hollywood Boulevard, going to some punk shows, backwards hat, Fred Durst coming out, throwing this up, rock and roll, baby.
I told you, I don't
Frosted
get swamp
tips.
ass in Mugsy jeans.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't get swamp ass. So you could see me in my magenta jeans, hat backward, Fred Durst, the whole trick. You will not see the swamp ass. Ain't happening.
Do you remember when Limp Bizkit was talking to us on social?
That was amazing.
Pretty cool.
The show's come a long way. Yankees head to second place Tampa for a 3-game set this weekend. Will the AL East standings get a little more cozy, or will New York put a little more distance between themselves and the rest?
Okay, I'm going to take you through my thought process as I'm going over this question, okay?
Yes.
Yankees stink right now. Bad August.
Oh, boy.
They didn't try in August. Remember that? Tampa Bay, that's the house of horrors. Nobody wants to go to Tampa and play baseball. It's ridiculous down there. It's not a real baseball field. There's rings of the catwalk that you can hit off of. It's a ridiculous place to play baseball, okay? Then I started looking at the results. They played each other 13 times, right? Yankees 8-5 in those 13 games.
8-5.
11 of the 13 games, Chris, have been decided by 2 or fewer runs.
Ooh.
This is a very, very close series. Yankees, not a good road team, barely above 500 on the road. So you're going into Tampa, the house of horrors, to play a team that's really given you fits over the years. So that makes me want to lean Tampa, but this is what happens when you start thinking like that. The Yankees are going to go down there and at least take 2 out of 3. They're going to widen the gap in the AL East. Book it. There's no doubt about it.
It's currently 6 games, which I think is the smallest division lead for New York since early June.
Give me 7 games after the series.
Okay. The pitching matchups are not anything to write home about. Herman, Schmidt, and Montas go for the Yankees. You know, Montas still trying to find the right direction since he put it on. Springs, I don't know if Tampa has picked a starter for tomorrow, and then Corey Kluber on Sunday. Do you know what New York's record was during the month of August?
Really bad, like 10 and something.
10-18.
10-18.
Do you know they had a worse record than the Angels? Do you know they had a worse record than the A's? Did you know that Anthony Rizzo stayed behind out west and is having his back looked at? So we don't even know about his availability for this series. But do you know one other thing? Peraza's here.
Yes.
Peraza's here. Everybody all for the last several months. Where's Peraza? Where's Oswaldo? Where is he? He's here. He's going to be in Tampa. He's going to be your starting shortstop this weekend, and all will be well for the mighty Bronx Bombers, who are relying on a little tiny shortstop to save their season. Not all these big behemoths who are paid $30 million a year to hit the ball 10 miles. This cute little shortstop who's going to save their day.
I got a few questions about this, okay? Just a few questions. One, I'll start with a statement. Thank the Lord that we don't have to hear Yankee fans talk about this kid anymore. Like, it's been ridiculous. We need Peraza. We need Peraza. You got Peraza, okay? Now, let me tell you, he's a rookie going into Tampa. It's going to be weird for him, okay? If he has some initial success, congratulations. If he fails, don't worry about it. Like, let's let this kid play out a little bit, Yankees fans, okay? I don't want to be extreme on either side. And I think we might get that. And there's this infatuation with him because, Chris, of the Jeter documentary. These dudes flew back in time to 96 and were like, see what a young shortstop can do for your franchise? We're going to take him and we're going to go to the World Series. And maybe you will. I pray for you guys that happens. But just give this dude some time, okay? It's a tough race to the finish line here, and you're bringing this dude up, and like just give him some time. Either way, don't boo him unmercifully, and don't praise him like he's Jeter. Let's stay somewhere in the middle, please.
Let's remember, though, when Jeter came up in 95 for that stretch run so he could be around all these veterans and during a playoff
But he didn't
run.
play, did he?
He didn't play. He did not play. Do you think Peraza will be their postseason opening round shortstop?
Truly?
I do.
Truly?
Truly.
I don't.
I do.
Okay.
Okay.
You think he's going to start the foreseeable future at shortstop?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. I don't, and I'm not like one of these, oh my God, I got to have him. I think that I think with Kiner Falefa and how poorly he's played, that, I think they'll be fine with it. Kid can run.
I want this kid to succeed.
Defense.
I want this kid to succeed. I don't want anyone to think that I don't want that. I'm just saying the game is very difficult as a rookie.
Very difficult.
Especially as a shortstop getting into a division race, heading into the postseason. There's a lot of weight on his shoulders. And hopefully, Judge and all these dudes start banging and take a little bit of that stress off him. But if these are close games and like he's up in pressure situations, like it's going to start to wear. And if he has some failures, then what? Then what are we doing? What? IKF's going to come save the day after you just
no.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like they've totally pushed IKF out of the narrative. I don't think that's actually happening in the clubhouse. I'm just talking about the fans. But like if Peraza comes up and struggles a little bit, are you going to be calling for IKF to come back? Like,
we'll see.
I don't know, man. This is going to be very interesting, to say the least.
I'll answer the question. I agree with you. I think the Yankees take 2 out of 3. I think they have a 7-game lead when we return to work next week. Let's do this one quickly. Which other contender are you most closely watching this weekend in a series, and why?
I'm watching 2 teams. It's the AL Central matchup of the weekend. It is the White Sox Twins. I'm watching that because Seattle's coming into your guys' house, I believe. Are they going there?
In Cleveland.
They're coming into Cleveland.
In Cleveland.
They got all their pitching lined up. You just talked about how good Seattle's pitching was, or you mentioned at the end. They got their pitching lined up. I think Seattle could take the series here. And now if the White Sox or the Twins, either one of them sweeps, that division's going to get turned on its head right there. And I believe only one of those teams is making the playoffs. I don't think anybody's going to sneak in as the wild card. So, this division is it for them. And I think this is a huge series for either the White Sox or the Twins, depending on who does it.
And the White Sox had another team meeting yesterday before their win against Kansas City. They felt like they really aired some stuff out. So we'll see if that momentum
4 games
carries
back.
I know.
4 games.
You're right. It's a huge one. No question. For me, I'm focused on the San Diego Padres. Just swept up in San Francisco, but now they're at their personal house of horrors. Mm-hmm. They are in Los Angeles to take on the Dodgers, who probably aren't going to be very happy after what happened out at Citi Field the previous 3 days. They are 1-6, the Padres are, in Los Angeles this year. They have been outscored 37-12. So they haven't just lost. They've been embarrassed. Their offense has not gotten going at all. They're averaging less than 2 runs per game. They got to get it going a little bit. And let's remember, they only have a 3-game lead over Milwaukee for that final playoff spot. So if they get swept again in LA like they did earlier in the second half, and Milwaukee ends up doing something this week, then it's really tight. I want to see what San Diego's got. I want to see what they're mentally made up of. Let's see.
I like that. I think that's twice now we said House of Horrors on this show. So you know how we're feeling.
But it's
October
true.
It's close. Halloween's here, people. Woo.
I love
Let's
Halloween.
go to Fright Night together, me and you. I bet you would.
I can't do that. Can't do that.
Bad
ticker. Can't do Fright Night. My God. Unless you plan on performing CPR. Would you?
Ooh.
Would you?
Have I ever performed CPR? No.
Would you?
I would. I've taken a class. I'm about to break your ribs, bro. Sorry.
Would you save me?
I would. I'd get all in that bearded face of yours, put my lips around yours, pump that chest, break a few ribs, and bring you back to life, baby.
Okay. Thank you. Finally, speaking of blood pressure raising moments. What the hell was Sam Haggerty of the Mariners thinking yesterday, trying to do his Spider-Man into the net at Comerica? He almost made the catch, by the way. They originally ruled it a catch, and then they realized, oh, yeah, no, he never had control. What the hell was he thinking?
I love this. What I think he's thinking is, I'm going to go be a dog and jump into the stands. He knows the net is there. He knows it doesn't matter if he catches that ball or not, Chris. He wants to catch that ball because then, he's on SportsCenter and all that shit. But the real reason you go into the net like that is so you get respect from your boys. There are certain times during the game where plays happen and I might get hurt here. I might, I got to go do something a little crazy here. But if I do it, I'm going to get some claps and some high fives from the guys in the dugout in the clubhouse. This is one of those times. Doesn't matter that he dropped the ball. The clubhouse now is totally behind him, 100%. And if that net wasn't there, he catches that ball. Like, that was a great effort, man. I don't think he goes into the stands if the net wasn't there. So it's kind of like a, whatever.
Right. A little buffer.
Yeah. But if he did decide to go in the stands without the net, I think he catches that ball.
Do you think we ought to change that to like the electric shocking dog collar, the net? Like if you jump into it, you get a little bit of a shock. Or should we make it more welcoming like that? It was funny to watch him.
Park fence?
Yeah. It was funny to watch him like bounce back into the field. That was hilarious. And they call him Swaggerty. He's got so much swag, they call him Swaggerty, which I kind of like. I think that's a good nickname. Of course, AJ Hinch had to make the point. He's like, that's a great effort. That's awesome with nobody on base. You tell your guys to do it. But if he catches it and somebody's on base, because of the ground rules, everybody moves up 90 feet. Like, okay, well.
Just relax, bro. Sometimes you got to do things for the boys. You do. It's the bottom line.
All right, what do you have coming up on John Boy Media?
After this, Chris, I'm going to record the Friday series recap episode of Talking Baseball. We got the stimulator. I'm not sure if it's going to be me and Jake or me, Jake, and Jimmy. I never get told anything, but I'm prepared to do the AL, so I'll be recapping all of those games. What do you got, man?
Latest episode of the Rose Rotation with Josh Rojas of the Arizona Diamondbacks is out. Really good kid, fun, funny. Did the interview from his parents' home. We got to meet his dog, which is really cool. I love it when guys bring their dogs on. Okay. And then right after this, the reason we had to move the show up a little bit today, the live version on AMP, was because Chris Archer will be joining me, and that will come out for public consumption on Monday. Thank you, Trevor Plouffe, for setting that up.
He's my guy. I love Chris, so I'm happy to do that. He's my number one Chris.
I'll take am I at least top 5?
Ooh, top 5 Chris's. Well, actually, my cousin Chris is number 1. Then Chris Archer. I got to think about it. You're top 10.
I'm a possibility. Sure. Oh, top 10. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll accept that.
I see you the most. Maybe that's what it is.
That is
absence
true.
Makes the heart grow fonder. You and I are just together so much.
Did you say absence or abstinence?
Both. That's true both ways.
I haven't had a lot of Trevors in my life, so you're definitely way up there.
Cool.
We had a kid on our Little League team named Trevor Samuel, who was terrible, and my dad was managing the team. We're leading, and we're like 3 outs from making it a complete game, a game that counts. It starts pouring, and so my dad told everybody, hey, just swing and miss. Let's get out of here. Let's take the win. Trevor Samuel, who always swung and missed, is now fouling off pitches. And it's pouring rain. We're all screaming at him to swing and miss. It doesn't matter where the ball is. Trevor, just fucking swing the bat and miss. And he kept fouling it off. Finally, he missed. We're like, yes! Well, we were probably 9 and 10.
Oh, my God.
Very important in the standings.
I'll have a talk with you after the show.
Yeah. Okay. Special shout out to our man, Dan Rourke. Outstanding job as always. For Trevor Plouffe, I am Chris Rose. Programming note, Monday is Labor Day. We will not be laboring. We will be taking that day off. Probably last day of summer with our families. We appreciate everybody's understanding. But we will see you Tuesday with a ton to talk about on Baseball Today.